for 3 files today for area of impacts, starting with Kootenai County, or Kootenai County, City of Kootenai, file number AM 0008-25. At this time, I will turn it over to planning.
Okay.
Commissioner Domke, can you hear us okay?
I can, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, commissioners. Alex Van, interim planning director, for the record. So this file is for the area of impact for the city of Kootenai. Just as a reminder, the area of impact is a planning tool that helps the city project future growth planning, and Idaho law requires that each city to identify an area where it expects to grow over time. The AOI helps guide the planning efforts and does not grant the city any governing authority over properties within the AOI. So this property, or this file was noticed on October 28th to the newspaper, to applicable agencies and applicable property owners within the area of the proposed area of impact. We received comments from Idaho Department of Water Resources and Kootenai-Ponderay Sewer District, which are in your packet today. We received no comment replies from DEQ, Fish and Game, and Idaho Transportation Department. And we've received several public comments regarding this proposal, which is also in your packet today. So the current area of city impact agreement for between the county and the city of Kootenai was adopted November 10th, 1994 via ordinance 256. The map was established via ordinance 257. So these ordinances established the agreement between the county and the city, designated the geographic area of the ACI in accordance with 67-6526 of Idaho Code. During the 2024 legislative session, there was a Senate bill passed that amended this Idaho Code, which made several substantive changes to the regulation. So the area of impact boundaries limits the maximum extent of a city's area of impact to areas that are likely to be annexed to the city within the next 5 years and no more than 2 miles beyond the existing city boundary. Counties retain discretion to establish smaller boundaries but cannot exceed the 2-mile cap. The jurisdiction for the establishing areas of impact clarifies that the county has the primary jurisdiction to adopt and regulate the areas of impact. And the mandatory periodic review requires that areas of impact be reviewed at least every 5 years. And all existing areas of impact must be reviewed for compliance with the updated statute by December 31st of 2025. So this graphic here shows the requested area of impact from the city of Kootenai. The areas are located in shaded in gray here. These dark boundaries here are the city boundaries, and these gray areas outside the boundaries are the areas that the city is proposing to include in their area of impact. So this was noticed in compliance with Idaho Code 67-6509 and 6526 that required written notice of the hearing to be conducted under this subsection shall be provided by the county to each owner of property located within the proposed area of impact. Upon receipt of the proposal, we planning staff collaborated with the GIS department to map the geographic boundary of the proposed area of impact. Using this boundary, a list of property owners within the proposed AOI was generated based on the records from the county assessor's office. The list of property owners, along with the draft notice, was sent to the City of Kootenai's planning staff for review and verification. Following this review, written notice was mailed to all property owners of record within the proposed area of impact boundary. The public notice, agency notice, and record of mailing can be found in Appendix A of the staff report. When we get to the area, or the review for Kootenai, the City of Kootenai's proposal, the City of Kootenai submitted a formal request to update this area in accordance with 67-65-26. This request was approved by the Kootenai County Council, Kootenai City Council, and submitted for the Board of County Commissioners consideration. This proposal can be found in Appendix D. This was the, at the June 16th, 2025 hearing, the Board of County Commissioners remanded the proposal back to the city for further consideration. So under 6526, a city's AOI may not extend more than 2 boundaries to beyond its incorporated boundaries. Kootenai's original proposed AOI extended outward to the 2-mile limit in multiple directions from the existing city limits. The amended proposal from the city received on October 9th, 2025, significantly reduced the proposed AOI from the original proposal. The amended proposal reflects discussions had at the June hearing and subsequent workshop with the county on September 3rd, 2025. The statute also requires that the AOI boundary include only areas that are very likely to be annexed within the next 5 years. Over the past 10 years, Kootenai has annexed one property, a 6.786 acre parcel located on Seven Sisters Drive, currently developed as a storage facility. While this annexation reflects contiguous growth, the city's proposal does not include infrastructure expansion plans, growth projections, or other documentation demonstrating the likelihood of additional annexations in the proposed AOI. The proposal reflects a significant decrease of the current ACI and the original proposed area of impact. As submitted, the proposal does not provide supporting evidence, however, that demonstrates the proposed area is very likely to be annexed into the city within 5 years, as required by 67-65-26. Idaho Code 67-65-26 also requires that cities with abutting boundaries negotiate in good faith to recommend AOI boundaries. Kootenai has coordinated with neighboring jurisdictions, including the city of Ponderay. An area of overlap was identified along McGee Road, where both Kootenai and Ponderay had proposed to include approximately 18 properties, but the updated proposal from Kootenai did not include any of these areas of contention identified in the previous proposal. 67-65-26 provides that cities should receive notice and may provide input on applications brought to the county within the area of impact. The draft ordinance includes a provision for notification of at least 30 days prior to any public hearing concerning land use applications within the AOI, and the draft ordinance can be found in Appendix D of the staff report. And that concludes my presentation. I can answer any questions if you have any for me.
Commissioner Donkey, do you have any questions?
I do not have any questions at this time. Thank you.
So I just have maybe 1 or 2 technical questions.
Okay.
Can a city annex property if it's not in an area of impact?
That would be a better question for the city itself,
Okay.
as we don't really deal with annexations.
Okay. All right, I'll address that then. Thank you.
The new proposal? Sure.
That way it'll be easy to.
P. Tess Vogel for the record, contract city planner for the city of Kootenai. Just want to go over a couple of items from the staff report. First off, I don't know of any public comments that were received. They weren't in the staff report packet that we received from the county. So if there are public comments, the city does need to have those. If there were any actually submitted or if that was regarding a different city. Also, I think there's a little confusion on what the map is showing. So if you can see, I might have to step out over here so I can look at it myself. There's the city boundary on what the county has shown, which is that black thick line. That's the actual city limits of the city itself. The city itself is not in the AOI. It is its own incorporated city. It doesn't need to be in the AOI. It's not part of those boundaries. It's the area outside of it. So really, when that map is done, the city itself isn't going to be shaded. It's what's outside of it. Also, in regards to your question about annexation, yes, that is a possibility. There's some criteria to it. One, the landowner has to want to be annexed, has to request it, and they have to be adjacent to the city limits on that. So they definitely can. They can do that currently, but that is a possibility.
Okay.
And then one other thing is, staff noted that triangle, what we are calling the triangle of contention with Pond Array, that is still in the proposed AOI for the city of Kootenai. So what went on at that workshop that we had with the commissioners was, or at the hearing, was that both Kootenai and Pond Array wanted that. And what the commissioners decided was that it was appropriate to have the road, which is McGee, that runs up into the intersection, would be into Pond Array's, because if that area of Pond Array's AOI were to be developed, most likely that road would be taken in by that city. But because of all of the public opinion that came in from our surveys saying we don't really want to be in a city, but if we have to be in one, we want to be in Kootenai's AOI, this board decided to leave that triangle out of Pond Array's. And so Kootenai has included it again in their proposal, because they're essentially everyone that we got back was, don't really want to be in a city. If we have to, it's going to be Kootenai's. And so we have put that in there. That's one of the 3 areas that we have reduced our map down to.
That's that northwest corner.
Yeah, that's that upside down triangle at
Right,
the very
okay.
top part, yes. So that's one of the 3. The other is Jeffrey Drive. This comes off of a county road, and we've had a handful of annexation questions come into us, some informal ones, to where landowners have wanted to know what that process would look like to be annexed into the city. And so because we had had more than one come in, we sent out a survey to those landowners to gauge what the feel for the annexation would be for that area, and to also let everybody know essentially what that process would be. And it was favorable, but again, county residents want to stay county if they have to, but had no issues with being in that AOI. And then our last one, which we are all very familiar with, is the Providence subdivision area. That's that farthest to the east area. Looks kind of a little bit like a gravel pit right now because they cleared it for all that development, but it's that 118 lot subdivision that went in right up against the city limits. And so this is the other area that we see as being appropriate for being potentially annexable into the city, especially because of their desire to use those connecting roads. We know that we're eventually going to probably see that come in, whether it's before they build or after, but we know that there's already interest of what that could look like for the city expanding into that area. Are there any other questions you have for the city on us?
Commissioner Donkey?
Yes. Is there any intended infrastructure upgrade or expansion that would support the idea of these 3 areas that you've described as being likely in the next 5 years to be annexed?
So the city doesn't have their own water or sewer system, which we've been aware of from the start of this, and that's not unheard of with most cities around here. They do have the Kootenai Pond Array Sewer District, and they have water from the city of Sandpoint. We do have multiple ongoing road projects throughout the city for a lot of improvements. You may have seen them along the highway here this last fall. We don't have anything specific going on, but we do essentially have continuous improvement projects throughout the city. And we do have our new trail connectors that we're putting through, which is what you have also seen along the highway and railroad. And so, especially for Providence, because we knew that that was going to be a high population increase into the city, at least around our sidewalks. We have been making our way through the city of improving those. So there's a lot of connectors that are going out, and they're going to start reaching out into the ends of the city limits where it would be getting to these areas for these county properties to be able to easily access within the city.
So, do you have anything else, Commissioner Donkey?
Yeah, I appreciate the answer. Could someone from the city explain what specific benefits you believe either of the two subdivisions would gain by being annexed into the city as to why they might wish to pursue such annexation? I'm just trying to understand the likelihood of such annexation within the next 5 years, and I haven't heard anything very specific yet that sounds like a driving factor.
The letters that we've sent out right now in regards to the Jeffrey Drive, that was essentially asking them about what they're looking for in regards to being annexed into the city, because a lot of people were looking at that road improvement. A lot of these roads aren't being maintained into the level that the city maintains our roads. And so that's a big one with the city. That's actually the majority of what our annexation questions are, is if we're annexed into the city, can our roads be taken care of by the city on that? That's a huge driving force. That's mainly what we're looking at, because again, the city doesn't have water or sewer as their own system, but we do have the Kootenai-Pend Oreille Sewer District that serves out there in the city of Sandpoint. It's all about roads. Everybody wants their roads taken care of a lot better, which I don't blame them.
Okay, thank you. Again, just wanted to clarify what factors would be considered a benefit for those property owners.
So did you get it? Did you get an answer?
I did, thank you.
Okay, all right. So I don't think I really have any questions. I do have a concern that was submitted to us by the Kootenai-Pend Oreille Sewer District that serves your city. And they state that the district cannot guarantee services to areas even within the current boundaries if density levels are increased or changed outside of the districts. So that raises an issue to me, is the infrastructure there for you guys to annex any of these properties in the next 5 years? Because I'm looking at the development there to the east.
Providence.
Thank you.
So
There's quite a few.
So Providence, they ended up getting all of their will serves when they got your subdivision approval. So they're not
taken
even a
care of.
question to
Okay.
it. That's both with water, with the city of Sandpoint and Kootenai-Pend Oreille Sewer District. So they're fully taken care of.
Okay.
The area of Jeffrey Drive, that's already all developed. And so they have their services as well. And then I believe it's almost half, if not a little bit over half of that triangular portion, that's also already has development on those lots.
And already served by.
Either septics that they have on them or through Kootenai-Pend Oreille Sewer District and the city for water.
So if this was allowed to go through, it would not be impacting.
There might be a handful of properties that haven't been developed yet that would look at getting developed, but if they're up, especially in that triangular portion, a lot of those people are already on wells and septics. That's what they're
Okay.
going to be looking at. But all of Providence is already taken care of, and Jeffrey Drive is all taken care of in regards to infrastructure on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, not a problem. Do you have any other questions for me?
That's all I have. So at this time, procedurally, do we go into deliberation or public comment? Public comment. All right, for and against or just public comment? Doesn't, just open?
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause it's not a hearing.
For neutral or against, if you like.
Okay, I don't think I'll go down that road if I don't have to. All right, so is there anyone in the room that has any public comment regarding this AOI? Seeing none, is there anyone online that has public comment on this AOI? Seeing none, then we can move into board deliberation on this. Commissioner Donkey?
So, from my perspective, based on the information the city has provided, I could see where it's reasonable that the Providence and Jeffries subdivisions could benefit from road infrastructure in the future. And with some interest having been expressed in pursuing that, understanding that the larger parcels in the triangular area on the northwest portion, I've not heard anything that I consider to be a compelling argument as to why those landowners would have a significant benefit. And I know we've had those landowners express at least some of them, that their preference would be to not be in the AOI. And since I'm not hearing a compelling reason that it's likely for there to be such infrastructure expansion and opportunities in that area above and beyond what there is today, it's reasonable to me to not include the parcels in that triangular area, but to only include the Jeffries and Providence subdivision areas.
Okay. I would lean towards agreeing with you on that, and as a board, can we do that? Can we accept a partial? Okay.
You would just have to state in your motion that it was as amended during the hearing.
Okay. All right, so if there's no further deliberation, then Commissioner Donkey, I will entertain a motion if you're prepared.
Excuse me. I move to, actually, I'm going to back up. Sorry. I need to get the document in front of me. Too many windows open right now. Okay, I'm going to close the map and go back to the staff report. I move to approve this file AM 0008-25 to adopt the area of impact for the city of Kootenai as amended to remove the parcels depicted on the proposed map in the triangular area and to include only the Jeffries and Providence subdivision areas as indicated on the proposed map. Pursuant that finding it is in accord with Idaho Code 67-6526 areas of impact. This decision is based upon the evidence submitted up to the time the staff report was prepared and testimony received at this hearing. I further move to adopt the findings of fact as set forth in the staff report or as amended during this hearing and direct planning staff to draft written findings and conclusions to reflect this motion. Have the chair sign and transmit to all interested parties. This action does not result in a taking of private property.
I will step down and second that. Is there any further deliberation?
None?
All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Donkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Corn?
Yes.
I Move to approve an ordinance of Bonner County, Idaho, the number to be assigned, citing its authority and providing for the adoption of the area of impact for the city of Kootenai as amended in this hearing and providing for an effective date.
I will step down and second that. Is there any further deliberation on that?
None?
All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Donkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Point?
Yes. So file number AM 0008-25 passes as amended. So moving on to our next one, file number AM 0005-25, City of Dover.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Alex Fan, Interim Planning Director. So again, we're here to hear file AM 5-25, which is a modification to the area of impact for the city of Dover. I want to make sure the Commission is okay with me skipping over the legal requirements for these, or if you want me to read them into the record again, I'm happy to do so, but.
I think they've been read into the record before. So I think we're okay unless Commissioner Donkey has another opinion.
Agreed.
All right.
Okay, then I can read my analysis then. I will go through the noticing requirements, so those are on record. So we provided notice to affected property owners, notice in the newspaper, and provided agency notice on October 28th, 2025. The notice for the public hearing and the record of mailing are attached in Appendix A of this staff report. And there are agency comments in Appendix B in the staff report. We received comments from the Idaho Department of Water Resources, Idaho Department of Fish and Game, Kootenai Pend Oreille Sewer District, and Panhandle Health District. All replied with no comment. And we have received public comments on this file. So this is the map of the proposed area of impact for discussion. So the area that is being proposed are highlighted in green. So this northern portion here, this portion here to the northeast, and this area along the shoreline of the river. And the black area there is the current city limits. So the city of Dover submitted their first formal request on February 27th. And their original area of impact was originally adopted January 2nd, 2007 through ordinances 486 and 487. Dover's current request is intended to update the boundaries consistent with the changes enacted through Senate Bill 1403. At the June 16th hearing, the board remanded the original proposal back to the city for further consideration. And the updated proposal was provided to the planning department on August 22nd, 2025. This updated proposal can be found in Appendix D, and the original proposal can be found in Appendix C of the staff report. So the city's AOI may not extend more than 2 miles past the incorporated boundaries. The city of Dover's proposed area does not exceed any of the 2 mile, does not exceed the 2 mile limit. We, planning staff in collaboration with GIS, verified that the proposed AOI boundary complies with the statutory distance requirement. The original proposal reflected a reduction of approximately 3,800 acres compared to the current ACI boundary. In the updated proposal, the proposed area has been substantially reduced even further. The City of Dover amended their proposal to include the following changes. It removed the disputed area along Chuck Slough originally included in Dover and Sandpoint's proposal. Eliminates all properties west of the current city limits, removes Ravenwood and Snug Harbor areas, retains areas where different city services have been extended or where services have been requested if annexed. It retains areas where annexation requests or inquiries have been identified or where logical extensions of city services are evident for the future and adjacent to the shoreline of the city. The requirement for the AOI must be limited to areas that are very likely to be annexed into the city within the next 5 years. Dover's original proposal references the availability of municipal services, including updates to the wastewater treatment master plan and completed water service master plan, both of which assess future capacity needs. Dover's wastewater system has been extended in prior years to portions of the Syringa Heights area outside city limits, although the city currently does not extend sewer or water services to new areas unless annexation occurs. The updated 2025 wastewater collection system facilities plan prepared by JEB engineers projects a 3% annual growth and demonstrates planned capacity improvements designed to accommodate future growth in the proposed AOI. Additionally, Dover sewer service planning identifies specific infrastructure expansions along West Pine Street, and Syringa Heights to serve properties within the proposed AOI. The system improvements reflect an intent to serve the AOI and support a pattern of future annexation, particularly in areas north of the highway where growth potential is highest. While Dover's historical annexation activity over the past 10 years includes 2 annexations totaling approximately 4.35 acres, the new infrastructure planning and capacity expansion efforts indicate a more deliberate planning framework for accommodating future annexation within the proposed AOI. And again, the AOI draft ordinance includes a provision that a notification of at least 30 days prior to any public hearing concerning land use applications within the AOI. And the draft ordinance can be found in, I believe that should be Appendix E of the staff report. That concludes my presentation. I can answer any questions if you have any for me.
Commissioner Domke?
No questions, thank you.
I don't think I have any questions either. Thank you.
Claire Marley, for the record, I represent the city of Dover as the contract planner. And I think I might best go through the reasons that the Dover City Council has proposed this amended map and give you the supporting documents. First of all, as Alex pointed out, there's an area that is fronting the river system. And in my report to you, I indicated that this area has been under discussion for a couple of years now because there are some occlusions, some left out portions of the city of Dover that when we explored that with the state of Idaho and with the Bonner County GIS system, at first it was presumed to have been an error in description, and it appears that it might not have been inclusive enough of what Dover presumed it was annexing or incorporating. So that dates all the way back to 1988 when they first formed the city. So the city is proposing those areas roughly 75 feet out from the shoreline be included in the area of impact so that these boundaries can be amended. It's questionable whether it really takes an annexation or they can fix that boundary. And I included in my letter of support that there is a state law that allows the city to extend their boundaries 75 feet out from shoreline, which should take care of most of those boundary issues. There are a couple of significant areas, as you see those little inlets on the lower westerly portion of the city, which were excluded from the descriptions that the State Tax Commission relies upon because they believe that it followed a shoreline that went in along that inlet and then back out again instead of including it. And they're actually within the planned unit development, and they're part of a plat that was already accepted by the city of Dover. So these are mainly correction issues, but the authority exists with the state of Idaho to fix those, and they are items that the city is exploring. So those are significant and of interest to the city. The second part is the area that's known as basically the Tupelo Ridge. So in the green part, roughly the lower portion of that green, and I don't know if if I'll be able to get a cursor over there, this area here. Is that showing up, Alex? Is Tupelo Ridge, and since Commissioner Domke had wanted some proof of interest in this. We do have a letter, if I could enter that in the record, and it's from the city of Dover to the Tupelo Ridge folks who were interested in possible annexation because of their concerns about their continuing support of a water system. And so this is an active exploration with those cities. It's not underway as a significant annexation at this point because the landowners have to agree that that's what they want. They also need to explore the costs of their improving the water system to accept Dover's water. So it does show an evidence of interest in annexation. And then as Alex summarized, the city council undertook both water and sewer capital improvement plan studies, fairly recent. They're 24 and 2025 studies, showing that we have the capacity for both water and sewer within what was originally that expanded area of impact that we looked at with you in June. And so it fully supports what would be potentially annexed now with either water or sewer, depending on what the individuals might need in this situation. The shoreline doesn't create any new need for sewer or water. They're already served, so that's exclusive of that. And then lastly, the area along Syringa in my report that you have, and I believe it's part of the record, dated November 6th, there is a map showing how the city has annexed it or has extended its sewer lines to roughly about 900 feet short of Pine Street being on the most easterly part just out of city limits of Sandpoint. So that sewer line comes up that line of the Syringa Road. And over time, there are and have been requests, both verbal and written, to be able to annex in and to receive this sewer line service. The reason that it was first extended was for two reasons, one of which was there were, within the Indian Meadows area, which is in the county, there was a significant failure of septic systems and they were unable to find replacement. And so that line was built to support those. As part of that agreement, 11 or so lot owners gave their consent to be annexed in the event that city sought that annexation. So currently they're still outside of the city limits of Dover, but they do have that consent for annexation. Then within that, as we move up that trunk toward Pine, that we've received interest in further extensions of that line. If they were to pay for it, city has the capacity, they've shown they have the capacity, and there is the interest. So those are the three areas that City of Dover requested for annexation or for showing within the area of impact. And I wanted to remind Commission that although this is called an area of impact, it feels like it's all become an area of annexation. And we've lost sight of the fact that we are also looking at this as an area for the ability to the city and the county to be active in discussions of future growth, abilities to serve, connections with city systems as well as county systems for road. And I don't want us to lose sight of that. It seems like we've all talked about annexation only. And the criteria of state law include 5 other things that include transportation, geographic, and public services, which Dover has just created a new post office paid for with city funds that serves this greater area as well. So I don't want us to lose sight of that. Lastly, Alex, we did not receive public comments, so we would like that in time for us to provide any rebuttal if necessary. Is that a possibility?
Claire?
Yes.
Oh, we lost the map.
Oh, he's the mapper now.
There was one parcel due north at the very top of the map. That's
Larger?
kind of isolated by itself.
Is it on the most easterly side?
That one right there.
Oh, looks like upside down Idaho.
Yeah.
It was mainly, that one did not have a specific request for annexation, but it had a logical connection because of the rest of the city forms on 3 sides of that. It is an area that could be served, and it was an area of recent annexation, which I'm pointing to the West Pine area, not the West Pine that everybody's here for, but the West Pine area that's just off Traverse Park. We did some recent annexation in here. So that is formed now on 3 sides by the city of Dover.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner, the two public comments, one was from Snug Harbor, and I believe since Mayor-elect talked to an individual before the meeting who was in an area not part of this proposal, that I think your notice extended further than what our proposal is, because Snug Harbor is no longer in it. And then the other was a no comment, so I don't have anything further on public comments.
Okay. Commissioner Donkey, do you have any questions?
No questions at this time. Thank you.
So I have a question. And it's not, I mean, it's relevant, but not necessarily. How does the city annex property within an AOI?
Claire Marley again for the record. So the AOI forms a purpose of allowing a city to voluntarily or involuntarily annex. So the voluntary follows the way it always has, which someone requests annexation. They are shown to be contiguous to the city. We show that they're in our area of impact, and then there's a process where they submit a voluntary annexation form, which is now required by state law to be recorded. If it's not voluntary, if it's involuntary, then there's a process that differs slightly, wherein there has to be a study done by the city to show the reasons for the annexations, how that pencils out as far as if you annex it, is it going to be a cost benefit to the city or not? What are your service extensions, and what are the actual costs going to be to the city and to the landowner? So that's called a category B, whereas A is one that's voluntary. Question was asked earlier about can you be annexed voluntarily, and the answer is yes. Even if they're not in the AOI, area of impact, and they want to be annexed, they can be, as long as two things are true: if they're contiguous and if they're in our comp plan, our comprehensive plan projected land use map, which city is on the verge of adopting, so we're looking forward to this being resolved.
So does your city comp plan go outside the city limits then?
Oh, yes.
It does.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, you mean as far as area of interest?
Yeah, so
Yes.
because that's one of your things that is a requirement. So-
Right, and so we're right in between now. We have the 2017 adopted comp plan with the area of interest, and that extends to 3,800 acres, which is now being significantly reduced. So the new one that goes to hearing on December 8th extends that much less. There's a little bit of area to the north and the east that's included in area of interest, as well as the mining quarry that's adjacent to the city on the east or on the west side. So, and those are, area of interest is no longer anything in state law that's required. It's one that the city can include as part of their comp plan projected land use.
Okay, so if somebody wanted to be voluntarily annexed into the city, one of the stipulations is that it would have to be adjacent to a parcel that already is annexed into the city.
Yes.
Okay, that's all the questions I have. Thank you. All right, at this time, I will open it up to public comment, and it sounds like there may be some people here for this one. So I'm gonna start off with public comment in the room that is for this area of impact proposal. Seeing none,
What are you asking for? Support?
yes. Is there anybody in the room that has a neutral public comment?
My name is Mary Forbes. I live at 13482 West Pine Street. I don't know if you received my public comment that I sent in, but there are 20 homes on West Pine Street that are in the process of de-annexing out of Dover, and that map that she showed you will be incorrect within the year. We currently receive no services to them from whatsoever. They had at some point talked to you, I think it was last June, about bringing wastewater treatment and sewer and water up our street, and they've abandoned that completely, just so that you know. And there has been discussion about involuntary annexation in on Syringa Heights before. So Dover has already done that, has already had conversations about that with the residents there, just to let you know.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else with a neutral comment?
My name is Mark,
Sorry.
Mark Willis, 402 Brook Ridge Road. I'm just wondering, I couldn't even see that map. Can that be blown up so we could see it better? Is that possible?
Commissioners, would you like that?
Sure.
And just to
Did you
reiterate,
have a question regarding the map?
just to reiterate, everything west of Pine Street now is not in consideration? Is that correct?
No, it's not. Well, I'm answering for you, but I'm looking at the map going, no, I don't see it, but
me to hand a copy of the map to him?
that'd be great. Can we zoom in on that West Pine Street? Make it a little easier to see.
Commissioner Corn,
Yes, sir.
while we're looking at the Pine Street area of the map, can we please ask someone to point out which parcels are in the process of being de-annexed from the city of Dover?
So, Commissioner, this is something that's going to come in front of you guys as a board in the near future. So I would probably refrain from talking about that. Currently, it is a part of the city of Dover. And until that annexation or de-annexation is complete, then it is still a part of the city. So it is included in the city limits.
Understood, thank you.
In other words, did you have any questions? Are you?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Any other neutral?
More maps available anymore?
I gave my last one, so I don't have another.
Is there any other neutral comments? Seeing none, we will go to opposed comments. Any comments opposed to this area of impact? Yep. That's all right. Just state your name and your county of residence, please.
Rich Keller, I live in Bonner County. I live in Indian Meadows. When she was giving her presentation, she mentioned a sewer failure, a sewage or septic failure on Indian Meadows, at least in the same context. Are you sure about that? I live on Indian Meadows.
I can't.
So, yeah, so this is a public comment, so this is your time to talk to the Board of Commissioners.
Oh, I don't want to talk to you guys. I want to ask her.
Well, I will take that personal, but
I don't think that's correct. Sorry, I don't know the process.
that's perfectly fine.
I'm not a parliamentarian.
All right, is there any more public comment opposed to the proposed area of impact?
Yeah, I'm Dean Crook. I live in Bonner County. I also would like to have a map, if at all possible. I really have to commend Kootenai for their presentation. They have so much to offer the city of Kootenai, unlike Dover. One thing that she mentioned is the property has to want to be annexed by the property owner. Is that the case with Dover also?
So you're not going to address that? Okay. Yes, well, if you're outside, it's my understanding, if you're outside the area of impact and you would like to be annexed into the city, that yes, you have to ask, and there's some other provisions such as you have to be next to a piece of property that already is within the city limits.
Yeah, and I really don't know if I'm in the area of impact or not. I haven't seen the map.
You're welcome to borrow that one if you would like.
Okay.
So all these hash marked areas are the area that they're wanting to be in the area of impact. So I don't know where you're at on this map, but it's only the hash marked areas.
Oh, okay. I have to agree with Mr. Cower. The Indian Meadows, we don't have any septic failures there.
Okay.
They're all in good working order. And I want to make it clear that my wife and I do not want to be annexed under any circumstances, and would rather not be in the area of impact also. Yeah. Let me see if I have anything else. I think that's about it.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
let me borrow your map. Oh, I can look at this one.
You bet.
My name is Debbie Carl. I currently live on Syringa. I used to own the property at 46 Indian Meadows, and also the property that I now currently live on, which is on Syringa. When, due to health reasons, we needed to provide a place for my mother to live, we chose to build a shop with an apartment in it for her on the property that was contiguous with our 46 Indian Meadows, which is now the address of Syringa, which we now currently have a house on. My mother is now deceased. When we started the building of the shop, I'm going to call it shop for my mother, we were already aware that the property to the south of us was at that time hooked up to the sewer, Dover sewer, and another property, I think 2 houses down on the other side, was already hooked up to Syringa sewer, and I'm sorry, Dover sewer. I'm going to take a deep breath here.
That's all right.
Okay, so as we were proceeding to build the place for my mother, who had sold her home, and we needed to have the place, we attempted to get the Dover sewer for that place, and we were told no, that we could not, even though on both sides of that property, there was already a hookup. So it was, I did go to the board and negotiated with them, and they allowed us to do that, contingent that we would sign for allowing annexation of both properties that we owned, the one that's now has a Syringa Heights address, as well as where our home was on 46 Indian Meadows Road. There was never a failure of a septic system on Indian Meadows, 46 Indian Meadows that properly owned, nor do I know of any failure on Indian Meadows Road of a system. I'm assuming that they're saying that was a failure of 46 because we were required to sign for annexation. So if that's the case, that's not correct. The only reason that we signed that is because my mother needed a place to live. Okay?
Okay.
Just want to clarify that.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment against this proposal? Is there any public comment against this proposal online? Hearing none. Sure.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm just wondering, do we have a handle on what services that Dover's going to be giving us if we're annexed? Is that too far in the future?
I don't have that information.
No information? Does the representative have that information, do you think?
They may, but you're not allowed to ask them questions. They may,
Okay.
they may choose to answer that question if they like in a rebuttal.
Is there going to be a future meeting with Dover so we can ask those questions, you know?
I'm sure that you could bring that up in a Dover City Council meeting.
And we just don't want, there's so many people against this, we just don't want it approved, and we certainly don't want to be annexed. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
All right, at this time, I'm going to close public comment and turn it back over to the city for a rebuttal.
Claire Marley, City of Dover. In case I miss anything, please let me know. The first question was about the active de-annexation process with West Pine, and that the map is in error. It is not in error, it is today's boundaries. We could not have shown anything differently. State law provides an opportunity for modification, so if and when this is all completed, the city likely will come back with a modified map to show the existing boundaries at that time. As it is now, it shows nothing west of that boundary is being proposed for area of impact. Second question was about whether I knew for sure that there had been failures in the Indian Meadows area. I did not mean that everything in Indian Meadows had failed. I was planning director here when City of Dover worked with county on trying to resolve the Rockwell properties. I have a copy of that agreement here. It took in about 11 properties into the ability to serve that. And the reasoning was that the Rockwell property has completely failed. They had no place to put sewage. It was actually discharging out into the public right-of-way. And so I know for a fact, and it is 2010 that executed agreement took place. I do have a copy, but it's my only, and I don't know if you need that for record, but it was entered into the 6th day of May 2010. So that's a fact of the case. The reason the city agreed to that was that they felt it was urgent for health reasons, but since that time, city no longer takes on any properties to serve with sewer if it is not willing to be annexed. And as a part, I think, as one of your testimonies heard from Ms. Carl, is that they did at this time have to extend to the city a consent to be annexed in the event the city desired to do that as part of their sewer service agreement. So I think that answers everything. What services are we going to give? I had explained earlier that both sewer and water, the study by the city shows that they can extend it. But if you were talking about the Syringa area, we have the most likelihood for sewer extensions in those areas at this time. Did I miss anything, Commissioner?
I don't think so. So to be clear, the Syringa area, you have potential or the capabilities to provide sewer, but not necessarily water.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Donkey, do you have any questions?
No questions at this time, thank you.
Okay. Does planning have anything else that they want to present?
Alex Fan, interim planning director. So I just want to reiterate to everybody in attendance that there's no, the AOI does not mean a plan for annexation. The AOI is simply a planning tool to be collaborative between the cities and the county to understand what development is happening in the county. And so the city can be aware of development around their boundaries and can plan accordingly.
All right. At this time, we will close public comment and go into deliberation with the board. Commissioner Donkey?
So I appreciate the updated revised proposed AOI map with the boundaries having been significantly reduced from the prior proposed map. The information presented with regard to existing infrastructure capacity and possibility for expansion is also helpful information. And given that information in the limited area that's being proposed and how close proximity that is to the existing city boundaries as well as the adjacent infrastructure that's available, be it road, water, or sewer, I find the current proposal to be reasonable and don't have any specific concerns.
Okay. As do I. Does the area of impact that they are proposing does not even go outside of their boundary. It's actually kind of picking up some internal areas of their boundary. And looks like the area within the shoreline is not going to impact anything as far as utilities or infrastructure goes. I think that was probably just a technicality when it was done the first time. I don't have anything else then, if you don't have anything else, Commissioner.
No, I do just want to reiterate that for any concerned citizens, and we did receive very limited public comment, so it's hard to build a strong case either way based on the amount of public comment received. But I just want folks to understand again that should a parcel that's not currently in the area of impact be added to the area of impact does not mean that that parcel will be annexed into the city. It creates a potential future condition, but I just want to be clear that the board's decision today does not mean that a parcel that's currently not within the city limits will become annexed into the city. So that is a to be determined in the future condition. However, we need to account for reasonable areas of growth. And so I, again, find what's been presented to be reasonable. So that's my final thought on it.
And another interesting fact that when I'm looking at the map, Commissioner, is that there's county jurisdiction, if you will, in the middle of this city, which makes it kind of hard on the county too, because the county has to drive through the city in order to plow roads and maintain roads. And I kind of find that odd how this originally happened. But it's there. And I'm sure that creates an additional problem also, but that's not going to be solved by this because, as you said, just by agreeing to this area of impact does not mean that any of these properties are going to be annexed into the city.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little bit of a future maintenance challenge, and that isn't at times where we have agreements with certain municipalities to trade off on maintenance services and things. But yes, it's an interesting island effect that has, I think, become something that's grown out of organic infrastructure growth over time that didn't go to the more challenging areas, probably due to cost benefit considerations. But in any case, I agree that's a future item to address and not one that we have before us today.
All right, are you prepared to make a motion?
I am. I move to approve this file AM 0005-25 to adopt area of impact for the city of Dover pursuant finding that it is in accord with the Idaho Code 67-6526 areas of impact. This decision is based upon the evidence submitted up to the time the staff report was prepared and testimony received at this hearing. I further move to adopt the findings of fact as set forth in the staff report or amended during this hearing, and direct planning staff to draft written findings and conclusions to reflect this motion, have the chair sign, and transmit to all interested parties. This action does not result in a taking of private property.
I will step down and second. Is there any further deliberation on this?
None?
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Donkey?
Yes?
Commissioner Corn?
Yes.
I also move to approve an ordinance of Bonner County, Idaho, the number to be assigned, citing its authority, and providing for the adoption of the area of impact for the city of Dover as presented, and providing for an effective date.
I will step down and second that. Is there any further deliberation?
None?
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Donkey?
Yes?
Commissioner Corn?
Yes. All right, so file number AM 0005-25, modification to area of impact for the city of Dover has passed as presented. Next, we'll move on to file number AM 0010-25, modification of the area of impact for the city of East Hope.
Okay, thank you, commissioners. I'll wait till everybody moves out.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you, commissioners. Alex Fan, interim planning director. So again, I'm going to forego all of the statute, a reading of the statute. So this one, the area of impact has been modified to basically eliminate the area of impact and just have have no area of impact and as shown be as the city limits of East Hope. Their decision and their proposal is outlined in Appendix D of the staff report. We received comments from the following agencies: DEQ, Department of Fish and Game, Department of Water Resources, Idaho Transportation Department, and Kootenai Pond Area Sewer District. And we received public comments on this file, but the public comments was from the previous proposal, as since there was no county properties to notice. A notice did not go out to any county properties. Again, this is the proposal. The proposal is the city boundary. There is no county boundary or county properties included in the in this proposal. So effectively, there is no area of impact boundary. So the May 21st, we received a formal request on May 21st, 2025 to update the area of impact boundary for the city of East Hope. This was, the original proposal was submitted as a joint proposal with the city of Hope and sent to the Board of County Commissioners for consideration. That original proposal is in Appendix C of the staff report. On the June 16th, 2025 hearing, the board remanded the proposal back to the city of East Hope for further consideration. And on October 6th, the city amended their proposal and stated that they would not be establishing an AOI boundary as shown in their proposal in Appendix D. With no boundary, the boundary will not extend 2 miles past the incorporated city boundaries. There's no AOI boundary, so the proposal would meet the requirement for any properties to be annexed within the next 5 years. The city of East Hope, in their proposal, stated that they do not plan to annex any properties within the next 5 years. So this proposal reflects the reconfiguration of the existing area of city impact boundary, eliminating it entirely. And this proposal adjusts the AOI boundary to more closely align with the interests of the city, and they have no intention of annexing any properties. And as far as the ordinance goes, I'm going to have Nate Adams from the prosecutor's office advise the board on the next steps on establishing an ordinance for a area that has no proposed boundary. But that concludes my presentation. I can answer any questions if you have any for me.
Commissioner Donkey?
Yeah, I guess my only question would be what legal counsel has to say about how we adopt an ordinance regarding an AOI that's not an AOI.
Nate Adams, Bonner County Prosecutor's Office. In looking at the statutes that had to deal with the area of impact, we saw in it mechanisms for the cities to force the county to consider their areas of impact. There was no reverse. There was nothing that had the county that could mandate or force the individual cities to participate in this process. There was a letter that I saw, and I don't know if it's been entered into the record, from the city of East Hope that said that they no longer wish to have an area of impact. It would be my recommendation that the commissioners put on the record basically the substance of that letter and then submit the letter to be a part of the record, just so that we know that the city of East Hope was given an opportunity to participate and has affirmatively declined to participate in that. And then we just submit a ordinance that states that the area of impact is the city limits of East Hope as it currently stands, and that there will be no additional area of impact. So basically, an area of impact of 0 would basically be what that is. But I think we do that, then we can proceed. The city of East Hope, having been given opportunity to participate, and they have affirmatively declined to do so. Subject to your questions, that's all I have to say.
Any further questions, Commissioner Domke?
So to clarify, Mr. Adams, is it your suggestion that the board move to adopt the letter from the city of East Hope citing its desire to not create an area of impact? And yeah, go ahead. I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around what motion we should make.
I think what you do is you enter onto the record. You don't necessarily adopt the letter, but you enter into the record the letter that states that they, if I remember the letter, they had considered having an area of impact and are now deciding that they don't want one. And then the ordinance will just state that the area of impact will be the current boundaries of East Hope, and that there is no additional area of impact. In other words, an area of impact of 0.
So then you're recommending we don't make a motion to adopt anything, but that we simply accept their letter into the record, and then we make a motion to adopt an ordinance to establish an AOI with no effective area.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
So in essence, we're approving the file as presented to us by the city.
It would be best if the city
I was going to say.
get some information on that.
Yeah, I was going to say, you still need to go through the motions.
Okay,
May I?
sure.
Thank you.
Claire Marley, I represent the city of East Hope as contract planner. We also represent Boundary County. We're working through this same issue with the city of Moyer Springs, talking about the same things. They don't feel they have any area that they can clearly say is going to be annexed, which is really what happened with East Hope. We lost the ability to say we had an area of impact. So it's now down to, do we have an area that's going to be annexed? And their answer to you, truthfully, is no. We've had requests for it, but they are discontiguous to the city and therefore cannot be annexed. And so their response to you was really twofold. One was, we have no request before you to ask for any area of impact. And secondly, the disappointment in the legislation. And that letter you got, I think, in September. So our big concern here is the area of impact is not the boundary of the city, because in your ordinance, you're saying that you have the right to have jurisdiction in that area, and we can't say that. That's not proper. And so the city specifically asked that they have no area, and I believe you still need an ordinance that says plainly that they, based on the criteria of that legislation, that they cannot show that they have an area to be annexed, and therefore none is established, just plain as can be. But you also have to repeal your old area of city impact, which is in your draft ordinance. So you really do have an ordinance need, and you can certainly use in your whereas statements the statement of the city's letter indicating they have no interest and cannot show that they will be annexed. But I still think you need to have that ordinance crafted. One thing the city wants to be sure of is that we don't get another public hearing out of this, because it's taking staff time for them to continually come back. And so hopefully if you work toward an ordinance that plainly says there is no area of impact, and that you're repealing those that are on the books now for area of city impact and its area of city impact map, that we can do that through a continuation to a successive meeting of the Board of Commissioners without having any further hearings, just to avoid that expense.
May I interrupt, Claire? Alex Fan, Interim Planning Director. So What we've done in the past, if there are changes that need to be made to an ordinance, or changes needed to be made for the city, the board doesn't have to approve the ordinance today. They could make the motion to approve the proposal, and then I can bring a new draft ordinance with the language that's been proposed to a business meeting or to another meeting and approve it then.
Okay.
And then we, Claire Marley again would request that that be provided for review so the city attorney has a chance to look at it.
All right. All parties are in agreement?
City clerk is here. I just want to make sure that Chrissy didn't also need to say something.
Sure.
No, as long as the city attorney gets to review the ordinance prior to adoption.
Okay.
Sorry, the one other thing I have to note.
If you could just stand up to the microphone, please.
Christy Frank, City Clerk for East Hope. On the map that's in the staff report, it shows the shaded area in the interior of the city boundary as the AOI, and that should not be shaded, because that's not the AOI, according to the legend at the bottom.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
Then there won't be a map for this, sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say, we just won't adopt a map in the ordinance. It'll just be the proposed, whatever the proposed language is.
Area of impact, so no reason for a map. Okay. I think we've cleared the air fairly well. As long as you two know what we're doing here. Commissioner Domke, anything else?
It was a little hard for me to hear some of the things, so I'm just wanting to clarify. It sounds to me like the path forward is that we direct the planning staff to coordinate with the city of East Hope and legal counsel to draft a proposed ordinance for the board to adopt that accepts the letter from the city of East Hope establishing an area of impact that consists of no effective area.
Yep, that is correct. And we still need to approve the file
And go through public comment.
and go through
Yep.
public comment.
You just have to call for public comment.
I forgot this was so easy. I'm ready to vote on it. Okay, is there any public comment in the room on this file? Seeing none, is there any public comment online concerning this file? Seeing none, I will go ahead and close public comment. Is there any need for rebuttals or anything like that? All right, at this time, we'll enter into deliberation. Commissioner?
I'm prepared to accept the proposed AOI by the city of East Hope, given the discussion we've had to date. And I recommend that we add to the findings of fact a number 7, citing that we adopt into the record the letter from the city of East Hope requesting an AOI that has no effective area.
I'm okay with that, if you would like to include that.
It's somewhat redundant to findings of fact number 6, but so I would entertain feedback from the city's planners. I'm just trying to be sensitive to what I've heard. So if they think that that would be helpful, I'm comfortable with that. But I just, like I said, I think item 6 under the findings of fact is essentially saying the same thing, but maybe a little less direct. I don't know if they have it in front of them. I can
Did
read
you
it.
catch that?
Let me find it.
So what he's suggesting is that we add a number 7 to the findings of fact, just to clarify that we're adopting your letter from the city stating that.
Chair, are we still in deliberation where I can comment?
We're asking for, yes.
Okay. I understood Commissioner Domke asking whether it was redundant with 6. 6 says, City of East Hope's amended proposed AOI does not include any properties in unincorporated Bonner County, and I think the city clerk wants it to be clear that we don't need a map. Number 7 could recite that the letter was received by you September 10th, 2025, indicating they want no area of impact. I think that would be helpful to clarify that for the council.
Okay. Nate, you have something to add to that?
Thank you very much. I would agree with the city. I don't think it is redundant. I see there is some overlap between the two, but this one is going to specifically address and incorporate into the record the letter from the city of East Hope. And so I think 7 is amplifying. I don't think it is redundant.
Okay.
So I think it would be necessary to have that number 7.
All right. Thank you.
Sorry, and this is Nate Adams from Bonner County Prosecutor's Office.
So you have a green light on number 7, Commissioner?
I agree with adding findings of fact number 7, as suggested, to adopt the City of East Hope's letter from September 10th, 2025. That's the correct date.
Actually, this one is dated May 21st, 2025. Okay, so I don't have your newest one. Would you like to submit the new one to your record?
No, that's the old one. I'm just giving you the correct.
Okay,
It should be in Appendix D.
okay. So, all right, at this time, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve this file AM 0010-25 to adopt area of impact for the City of East Hope, pursuant finding that it is in accord with Idaho Code 67-6526 areas of impact. This decision is based upon the evidence submitted up to the time the staff report was prepared and testimony received at this hearing. I further move to adopt the findings of fact as set forth in the staff report and as amended during this hearing, and direct planning staff to draft written findings and conclusions to reflect this motion, have the chair sign, and transmit to all interested parties. This action does not result in a taking of private property, and this action does not result in creating an area of impact with any effective area.
I will step down and second that. Is there any further deliberation?
None?
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Domke?
Yes?
Commissioner Corn?
Yes. Motion passes.
When it comes to the ordinance, then, are we just gonna hit the pause button on that until we have a draft ordinance for review?
Yes, I will. This is Alex Fan. I will draft the ordinance with Nate. We will send it over to the city and their legal counsel for review. And once we've got the green light from both ends, then I will present it to the board.
Sounds good.
Okay. So the motion on file number AM 0010-25, modification of area impact for the City of East Hope passes, and staff will work on the ordinance. That concludes this hearing. All right, it is 2:25, and this hearing is adjourned.
Commissioner